Hi everyone, my name is María Isabel Cajamarca. I am 37 years old and I study at UTPL in the career of Pedagogía de los Idiomas Nacionales y Extranjeros. Today, the objective of this video is to talk about the types of plagiarism. So before starting, it's important to analyze some information that's going to be very useful before taking this topic in count. Well, when we are students in secondary school, it is really easy to notice that homework is just developing an activity established by a teacher. So it doesn't encourage us to be good searchers or use the searching tools in a proper way. Then starting college becomes a challenge because of the differences existing in our knowledge about investigation and about what it really is. Well, being aware of plagiarism's types, characteristics, and uses gives us the chance to recognize the way how we are doing our homework and even raise awareness of how we used to do it. It leads us to develop the root of ethics and obviously start by looking for it in our students. The earlier we start motivating our students in the proper use of quotation, the later result will be more favorable, I think. Let's remember that when you commit a crime out of ignorance, in this case, quotation, the charges are not waived because the law is already made. So according to this information, we can talk about the types of plagiarism. Well, the idea is to know it in order to avoid it. The first one was interesting for me. Well, actually, this is my infographic. It was very difficult to share it in a small way because the letters are too small and it's going to be a little difficult to show it to you. And that's the reason why I have it in this form. Then the first one, as I told you before, was copy and paste. Well, it is only when talking about specific information. It's going to be taken without acknowledgement. So generally, we use it with phrases from authors, discoveries, or opinions. Then we have the second one, that is self-plagiarism. I think almost all the students who have studied in another careers in a different university have noticed that we frequently do this activity because it is about recycling information using a past investigation as if it was just searched. So it means that it generally happens when the homework has already been done before, and then it's going to be presented for a second time. Then the next, number 3, for me was collusion. So in collusion, someone investigates, another one copies with some little changes. So it's like there is this kind of investigation, and then another one is going to paraphrase in order to think that he created a new one. So generally, with homework done in class and presented by other students with a few differences. As I told you before, it is a thing of paraphrasing. Then the number 4 is cloning. And cloning is literal copy of an information of investigation. The only thing that changes is the name of the author, so it's going to be the same reading. Generally, it happens with the homework is done in class and presented with the same work, but with different name. That is very common in the classes. The 5th one that was interesting for me was mosaic, because in here, you are supposed to keep extracting information partially or totally without any kind of quotation. Additionally, it happens in research with a phrase on that an author said, and there are no quotations. Then this number 6 I noticed was verb team and clean copy. I really like these ones because I didn't know that there was a possibility of copying or using some audios in a positive way. And verb team and clean copy are the solution for that. Because first thing is that they come from audios, and then in verb time, we have to write the transcriptions, including all kind of sounds. So if there is a sound of it's going to be included in the transcription. And generally, it is used when maybe they are in the jury, they are part of the jury members maybe, and they are going to record, and after that they have to prepare an inform. So maybe it could be in that way. Then we have a clean copy. In clean copy, a written transcription of an enhanced audio. So it means that it's going to be clean. They are going to avoid the whole sounds I said before, like not all the sounds are necessary. Well, it's important to notice that when we are doing this kind of things, we have to be respectful with the author. And that doesn't only happen because of taking the information of other people. It's because I think it's kind of lack of respect. To give an opinion is very difficult because you have to support your ideas with the whole things you have already read. And if you just say what another person said, is not respecting the investigation time, the investigation type of the other person did. And this person needs to have the renown because, as I told you before, it was part of the investigation. To avoid plagiarism, I think that we have to start by preparing some exercises in which one of the most important things is paraphrasing. Almost all of us are all the time trying to paraphrase what is difficult to understand. But nowadays, it has become a very hard work. I am a teacher right now. I work with students who are sophomore, so it's very hard for me to tell them that they have to paraphrase. They just don't have the idea. And I think it is something that we have to develop since we are children. And then it has to keep increasing because I think it's a thing of curiosity, a thing of finding new ways to say words, is looking for synonyms, is creating new kind of sentences. And I think it's hard work for the new generations. And that is the reason why plagiarism is pretty simple, because you just have to copy, paste, and you have to make some little changes. And when there is not the interest of the teacher, it's going to keep happening. As teachers, we are supposed to avoid it. But for avoiding this, I think we have to prepare new homework for our students that encourages them to investigate. The problem is not that they take the information from the internet. The problem is that they don't write a quotation, or that they receive the information from internet, but it is not enough for supporting the whole details of the things they want to say. So as teachers, as I said before, we have to create new level of homework in which it's just not about completing the spaces or filling the blanks. It is about developing, researching, giving the information, giving the tools, and the most important, trying to create a moral in our students, a moral that makes them understand that copying is not good. And developing a new work, creating a work is like the top of the illusions they could maybe have for the future. And that is something I think about plagiarism. Maybe we have to start by us, as students, as teachers. We have to be very ethics, because if we don't have the ethic, why are we in this kind of profession? The idea is that you have to be and seem to be, but sometimes I have heard people that say that teaching is the kind of profession that take the people who couldn't get a real career. And that is interesting because when you love teaching, when you love like what you do, it's different, because you know that in your hand is the future of the society and the new generations. So let's start to introduce this ethics style in the students and avoiding this little thing that is going to represent like a huge change in the life. Let's avoid plagiarism. For your attention, thank you so much.